Good afternoon and welcome to the Free West Media YouTube channel. Today I'm chatting to Mr. Jacques Rudolph about cooperation between Facebook and various diplomatic authorities, embassies, and where it has affected his status as a South African in Vietnam. Good afternoon, Jacques. Could you tell us a bit more about what happened to you in Vietnam related to your Facebook account?
Good afternoon. Yeah, thank you very much to everybody who's listening and watching for the opportunity of stating my case here.
Okay, well, just 1 second. I just wanted to remind the viewers to please subscribe to our channel to follow all our interesting interviews. But over to you, Jacques.
Okay, so yes, definitely. On the, I think the 15th of this month, December, I reposted something which said maybe a family in Michigan found out that their family member had voted Democrat and had vowed never to visit them in the cemetery again. It was a text meme little thingy, and I shared it on my Facebook page. I got a strike on my Facebook page immediately.
Well, that's extraordinary. But what for? What was the strike for?
Well, apparently anything that doesn't agree with the narrative that's being pushed by the media. I mean, the narrative that is being pushed on Facebook, and people don't get fact checked on this, is that, for instance, Joe Biden is the president-elect of the United States. He is nothing. He's not the president-elect. Nobody gets fact-checked. Nobody gets any strikes on their account about that. Facebook has various fact checkers, and these fact checkers are interfering with things that could even be considered just normal satire.
Opinions or satire,
So
yeah.
You might even say something in a joking way about a famous American or whatever, and that might be misconstrued by these fact checkers as fact, whereas you intended it to be a joke. And I've seen it time and time again happen to people's posts that I follow or people that follow me on my page, and this is getting ridiculous. So,
okay, but then afterwards, you had another extremely disconcerting experience in that somebody arrived at your apartment and they took away your passport as a result of this. Now, that means that there's some connection between the Facebook fact checker and the authorities in Vietnam. Is that correct?
That is 100% correct. I have an online school that I designed myself, and I have a consultancy that builds online schools that I designed myself. Both have domains that belong to me. Then I have another domain which I will not state on this channel because it's not the place to state it. But I have another another link where I am creating a forum for people to complain against Facebook, because I feel there is no social media ombudsman where people can go. These fact checkers, they fact check you. They don't identify themselves. They don't say what facts are wrong or what facts are right or what their sources are, etc. They are in fact in breach of the organization that they belong to. Facebook states that all their fact checkers belong to a certain organization. I don't remember the name now, but if you go and look at this organization's rules, they have to identify themselves. They have to identify their main source of funds. So who is, paying for that fact-checking company? So I started investigating fact-checking itself, and I found out that it is a massive multi-billion-dollar, I think, multi-billion-dollar industry, where in every country in the world, well, I checked Africa, in every African country, between 25 to 75 fact-checking companies with logos, with offices, with telephones, with websites, with email addresses, with employees, and therefore they must have a source of funds. So these people are belong to this organization, and I wanted to, put them in a list so that people could know who these fact checkers are. I made it part of my website. I started advertising my my website on Facebook. I made a page for it. I said that it is a consumer complaints authority, and I put ads out there for the general public because I am in touch through some of my Facebook accounts. I am in touch with very influential people from the time that I had problems getting a passport out of the South African embassy, and the time when I had to throw myself at the mercy of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees and got the status of asylum seeker.
Yes, well, that was when the South African embassy in Bangkok, Thailand, took about 2 years to issue you with a passport. No, not so.
2 years to issue me with a passport, but that's not just 2 years of waiting. That's 2 years of actively fighting the system, actively fighting DIRCO, DIRCO, which is our,
Department of International Relations and Cooperation, something like that. Yes.
And I can tell you that they are targeting white South Africans who are employed overseas, and they are taking their time with our documents to such an extent that we either lose our jobs or we lose our permission to stay in the countries where we live. Okay. It's happened to me a couple of times before. So yeah, so I have access to a lot of people at the United Nations. I have access to a lot of NGOs, etc. And I put an ad out asking those people to also forward it to other organizations who might be interested, because I'm not qualified. I feel myself not qualified to be an ombudsman. I want.
But now these fact-checking organizations.
I will just put the operation there for them. If they decide to go in another direction with it, they'd be welcome. So anybody could send me an application, just detailing who they are, why they would be a good person to have on the board of such an ombudsman's organization, and so on. So I started doing that because I was tired of getting all these strikes on my account for just willy-nilly, things that really have nothing to do with newsworthiness at all,
Yeah, so these are not really news facts that you are writing about or that you're sharing with other people. They're just kind of opinions or satire or a
The
meme or
problem
something like that.
is that on the user, the Facebook user side, if you write something and your neighbor does not agree with what you're writing, they just click a little button and immediately that gets flagged and it gets sent to one of these fact checkers or one of these people who have never worked a day in their entire life, are between 40 and 50 years old and living in the United States in their parents' basement, doing nothing, having contributed nothing, having no degree, and they question. And that happens to doctors too. This is what's happening in the fact-checking industry, is that we have these fat kids sitting in their parents' basement, and they are fact-checking doctors. They are fact-checking people with years of experience and research years behind them. They're fact-checking whatever they write on Facebook, and they're giving people strikes left, right, and center because they are not identifying themselves. If they identify themselves, then you have recourse as the user to go back to the fact checker and say, this fact checker said that this is false information, and this is what my source says, or here are 20 sources that disagree with it. No, they don't want that. Facebook does not want that, and the political money behind social media, the established social media, being Facebook, Google, and Twitter, who are in this year. I want to make a prediction. 2021, we are going to see the antitrust case being brought against the Trinity. That Holy Trinity is coming down in 2021. Whoever sits in the White House, it doesn't matter. Actually, with the numbers that we now have in America, it makes the lobby against Facebook, Google, and Twitter so much stronger with the numbers that we now have. So the people that have already called in, if anybody, I don't want to give my website here, but right on the website there.
Yeah. You can leave some messages in the comment section, and you will respond to that.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
But now, then what happened to you in Vietnam? Because then you some official or policeman or somebody visited you at your apartment.
So I carried on with my normal daily business, which is either teaching online or going out teaching. And I happened to be at home. There was a knock on the door, which is odd because nobody ever visits my my apartment. It's buildings in Vietnam are just not that style, So they don't have many people, many occupants. They're about buildings in Vietnam look like books on a shelf. They're very narrow, very long, and very high. And this is the place that I stay in. And there was a knock on the door, and it was a green uniformed people, I presume to be police or military or whatever. I don't know I don't have any idea what the different colors mean. And they said they are checking passports. Now, I need to go back a little bit. So I have this website. I'm advertising this website. I place the piece that says this person is never going to visit their relative who voted in the last election for the Democrat Party in the cemetery. I post it, I get a strike on my account, and my account is taken down completely.
Your Facebook account.
They erase 20 years of my memories of traveling through exotic places. I lived on a man-made island in the Maldives and taught at an international school there. I have been to Sri Lanka, Laos, Myanmar. I lived in Myanmar, both in the north and in the south of Myanmar. I lived and worked throughout Thailand in small places and in big places. I speak Thai. I don't know, something was happening with the phone here. Okay, I'm back. So all those memories are gone. So I Googled, what should you do when Google or when Facebook does not want to engage with you about this? Because I disagreed with the strike on my account because of the satire.
Sharing this little satirical line or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and they wouldn't listen to me at all. I Googled what to do, and the article that I came across said that you should write a letter to each and every senator in the United States Senate. Each senator of every state, and that you should write to certain controlling bodies or certain regulatory bodies in the United States, and that you should also send your complaint to an embassy. So my complaint ended up at the embassy. I said,
is that now the American embassy in Vietnam?
Yeah, it's the U.S. embassy in Vietnam, among others. I mean, I think I emailed the world and its cousin. You know,
Okay.
I just spammed the hell out of it because I wanted my memories back. You know,
You wanted your Facebook account back.
I want my Facebook account back. I want my contact with my life back, and I want my memories back. You know, those are intellectual. It's intellectual property. It's my intellectual property, which Facebook is stealing by just closing an account like that. So the article said that I should engage these people, which I did, and I said that I am extremely depressed, which I was. I was extremely distraught at losing this. So
and then the Vietnamese official came to your apartment.
Yes. So the Vietnamese officials, I thought it was a standard thing that they were just checking. So I told the man calmly, please, just a moment, I'll just put on a shirt because I wasn't wearing a shirt at the time. And I reopened the door and I gave him my passport and I thought that'd be on their way. No, they wanted to come inside the apartment. I sat them down. They said, no, they have a problem. They have a complaint from the US Embassy by Facebook that I had obviously complained to a lot of people that made Facebook's life hell. So let me tell you what I think at the moment. I think at the moment, America is so divided that it has people that are so leftist at this point in time that they would unilaterally at an embassy like the US embassy in Vietnam, that they would unilaterally use their power to get the immigration officials of Vietnam involved to hassle a person that they thought would be
a nuisance to them,
being contrary to what they, because nowadays it seems it's not as important whether you think left or right. There is a right way to think and a wrong way to think, which is not the way that I was taught. When I went to university, we were taught how to reason, how to see both sides, and to come to a conclusion. Why do we need all these fact checkers? So my anti-fact checking website would be a way to generate donations for a board that could be an anti-fact checking thing. It took me a long time to write all these letters. The complainant, which is the Facebook user, would fill in one form online. That form would be duplicated and it would be sent to all the addresses that I sent my complaint to.
Okay, but now then they took your passport away.
So the guy took my passport and he gave me a little stub. I can put the link to the little stub that they gave me. And they also wrote a lot of things in Vietnamese. I have five huge Vietnamese people in a small room that can't even handle that many people. You know, they wrote all these things on these papers, and they asked me to write in my own handwriting that I understand everything that is written in this document in English.
Well, which obviously you don't.
And I had to sign the document. And the guy gave me the stub. He made off with the documents that I signed. And he said that you have an appointment at immigration at our offices the next day. So this happened on the 16th. So on the 17th, I was at the immigration offices early in the morning. I think it was, I was a bit late. This was 9:30. I was there at 10. I was met there by two of the Vietnamese. There were two Vietnamese immigration officials, the same ones that had been at my residence, and they had a lot of papers there, and they said that I should contact, because in Vietnam, you're not allowed to handle your own visa application. You have to work through a Vietnamese agent because of the language barrier, or because they just want to make money. You know, you have to pay your agent to process things for you with the authorities. The authorities do not want, I don't even know that is legal in terms of all the various, and I have a whole list of international covenants that Vietnam agreed to. I don't even know that is even legal, you know, for Vietnam. They should put people there who can speak English and French at least. I'm almost sure that there would be an injunction, you know, in any of those documents that they sign, that the public that they deal with needs to be able to approach tribunals or the police or whatever in their own capacity, in their private capacity. Anyways, it took a few minutes for my agent to arrive there. Very young Vietnamese woman. She's very trustworthy. She's handled my visa application a couple of times. What happens is, if you need something done, I just make a phone call. She sends a driver. Driver picks up my passport, and I don't just give my passport to anybody. It must be somebody really trustworthy. Driver takes the passport to her office. She gets the things done, which needs to be done. In a couple of days, she sends a message to my phone, tells me, if you're going to be there at that address, driver will deliver it at that address to you and give it to you in your hands. That's how we've been working. So this lady comes, she sits there. Again, we go through this process of them writing all these things in Vietnamese on these forms, and I'm given these forms, and I'm asked to write on these forms, not just on all the forms, I had to write the following. I had to write that I understand everything in this document and that I agree to it in English, in my own hand. And then I had to sign it. In front of the officials. And then I had to sign. Then the official told me that you can have your Facebook account back if you write the following. And there was another piece of paper that they wrote a lot of things in Vietnamese on. He gave me the flip side of it, where the paragraph continued, but there was about like half the page, half an A4 page left. I will not make any negative remarks about Facebook, about Facebook's user, what do you call it?
Community guidelines or whatever.
Community guidelines. I would not make any negative comments or question the community guidelines of Facebook, nor will I make any negative comments about the American Embassy, which are the people that had me there in the first place, because Facebook in the US phoned the embassy here. They got a liberal in the embassy to get these people to come and strong arm me and to take my passport. I'm still without a passport. There are certain bank accounts that I don't have an ATM card for, that I can't get money out of if I don't have a passport. So I have this little stub that they gave me. I don't have a passport. They haven't told me they haven't told me when I will get my passport back. They haven't told me when or if there will be another meeting. The lady who does my passport applications and myself, we just left the building. She was on her way to her office. I came back home, and I asked her, so what happens now? And she said, there's a 90% chance that you will be evicted from Vietnam.
Wow.
And I said,
so Facebook can get somebody kicked out of Vietnam simply because you complained about their fact checker, essentially.
Yes. And I'm not the only group. I mean, there are groups on Facebook called Fact Check the Fact Checkers, and there are these. This is a booming, mushrooming industry, which is why I thought setting up the website was such a good idea, because I could get people, with the contrary, fair people.
Yes.
Fair people who may lean more to the center or right, but at least fair people who could serve on the board of a social media ombudsman worldwide, and get this organization going, which is something I think it is definitely needed in today's world. So
now, did you get your Facebook account back?
This is what happened. The moment I signed on that paper, the guy took one of it's maybe a dozen mobile phones, Apple iPhones that were lying in front of him. He went onto the phone. He started doing something on that phone. He said, "Check your phone now and see that your account is active," which I did, and my account was reactivated. So my account was reactivated by an immigration official in the immigration office. And I'm telling you now that each and every country, except for the USA, where Facebook operates, this guy also told me when he did this, that this is the immigration official. He said, "We have a server, a Facebook server in Vietnam that we have direct control over. So you need not have written this letter to the embassy. We could have turned that on or off if we wanted to. We have total control of Facebook. So let me tell you now that Facebook is the new world government. It is a shadow government that is operating from the United States, separate from the Trump government, which is still the Trump government at this stage, as a shadow government that is operating, and they quell any dissent from any type of person that does not agree. And they have these people in place, specifically they have these servers in those countries because they don't understand the language spoken or written. I mean, just in ASEAN, I mean, just Myanmar, they have 22 languages. That's just one. Myanmar, the old Burma, they have 22 languages, distinct, not dialects, languages. Each country in this part of the world has its own alphabet and writing system. So they have people, Facebook and the shadow government of the United States have people in place in every country and territory in the world, including South Africa. And I've told South Africans complaining about farm murders, etc. I've told them this time and time again, do what you do online, do it in English. And I have tried to promote sites like VK, which is vk.com, Vkontact, which is Russian for being in contact, which is, if you go onto VK, simply victorkilo.com, and you open that site, you will see an exact replica of Facebook appear. It is where Zuckerberg stole the idea from the Russians in the first place. Facebook was never an original idea. There's nothing, not even the colors are original. He stole the entire idea from vk.com in Russia, which is if you look, VK, according to Wikipedia, is the most visited, because you must remember how many countries in Asia, in the old countries which comprise the old USSR, speak Russian, you know? How many people are we talking about? And how many people have it as a second language? VK.com is the most visited website in the world. OK.ru, which is OK as in RU, OK, and .ru for Russia, R Romeo, U uniform, OK.ru, perfectly good platforms to go onto. You can download these apps on your phone, on Android and iOS, and they can be used from a PC anywhere. You can create groups, you can create pages, you can sell, you can buy, you can listen to music, you can watch videos, share videos, etc. I've been trying to get people off these mainstream platforms like Facebook to tell them, listen, none of your farm murder business gets out of South Africa. The only ones that we maybe see are the ones in Afrikaans. And if it's in Afrikaans, then it's no good to anybody, because my sharing it isn't going to have any effect. You know,
okay, so you are saying that if you post something about a certain topic in English, they're going to censor it, and they're going to prevent that item from reaching or being shared elsewhere in the world.
I'm saying that because I know what my friends tell me, you know, what they have just shared on Facebook, or they have just put this. I have profiles that are so small that my friend list, I mean, I know when this guy sneezes, you know, and none of it. Those keywords are already plaasmoorde, farm murders. You're going to have to call this something else in South Africa because Facebook is censoring it. It doesn't reach anybody anywhere in the world.
Okay, well, that's very interesting.
You should stop marketing it. You should get off the Facebook platform, please, South Africans. Get onto vk.com, get onto ok.ru, get onto gab.com, G-A-B, Gamma Alpha Bravo.com. Get onto those. They're exact replicas of Facebooks. They just have different colors. You can do all the things that you have on Facebook. You can stay in touch with your family and start creating your groups there. Start creating your networks. Us South Africans are the first, especially Afrikaans South Africans. We are the world's first cyber nation. The world's first cyber nation. We are so disjointed as a society that we have so many of our children and people living overseas that we have more than any other nationality on this planet because of the way that we are persecuted and how it makes it impossible for you to get a job as a white South African in that country. So get the word out, start using code words. I don't know. Guys,
well, people will invent some, yes.
People will need to think about a way of getting around this. People need to use some of the non-mainstream platforms. Even for video, there's RuTube, the Russian YouTube, which accepts anything. There's Library, there's Rumble in the United States. There's an app called Orbeez, O-R-B-Y-S, Orbeez, Orbeez.com, which is in effect, well, it's just a more colorful Facebook, which obviously the Trump supporters, etc., go on. There's one called Wimkin. I don't want to say that I support any political ideology here. This is not about politics. It's not about the person or an ideology which I support. I'm not an American citizen. I should be able to share. When I think that something is satire, I should be able to share it on Facebook without being without it being censored, because I think it's funny. I'm sharing it because I want to have a laugh at somebody else. This is they have us under lockdown worldwide with this COVID-19. The cyberspace is our public space now. Now, if you are going to censor people in the street from saying certain things and it were not for COVID, then you'd be in trouble. If I came to you and I started physically abusing you and tearing your shirt off your body because of something that you say in public, then you have legal recourse. You go to a lawyer and you go to the police and you go to a lawyer and you lay charges against me. That is, if somebody does not enjoy what's going on your Facebook page, they should block you from Facebook so that they don't see your content. We need to people worldwide need to be told to grow up as a society. If you don't like what you see on my Facebook page, then by all means block me so that you don't see my content, okay? And then carry on with your life instead of having me fact check for something that was not meant to be factual, that was meant to be satire.
Okay. Well, excellent. Well, thank you very much for this talk, which has been really informative, and it's shocking, absolutely shocking that you should be victimized in Vietnam for simply sharing a small meme on Facebook. But thanks for the conversation, and everybody watching this, please subscribe to the channel, and we'll be bringing you more interviews and more interesting topics as we go along. Thank you, Jacques.
Thank you, Don. Have a nice evening.
You too. Goodbye.
Bye.